breaking down all 20 things you missed from Survivor Season 44, Episode 10. We're talking all things the Survivor Sanctuary, Carson's 3D printing Survivor puzzles, Frannie winning individual reward, Jaime's fake idol story, and much more. Careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, and make sure to stick around as we announce last week's puzzle giveaway winner. If you want to enter next week's giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below your thoughts on Survivor 44 so far. Let's get started with number 20, Frannie freaking out. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little bit to understand what was going on at the start of the episode. For some reason, Frannie was left out of the vote at the last tribal council, even though her green Soka tribe wasn't the target. We get a nice confessional, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing that we're gonna talk about later in the video, but Frannie fears that she has no allies left in the game. Number 19, Lauren freaking out. Just like how Frannie was freaking out after tribal council, we have Lauren freaking out here as well, but this one makes way more sense. Lauren and Jaime, being part of the Orange Ratu tribe, were obviously left out of the previous tribal council. Lauren's feeling in rough shape now after wasting her extra vote at the previous tribal council. Number 18, Carson in power. It makes perfect sense. We've already talked about the Soka tribe and the Ratu tribe. Now it's time to explain why the Tika tribe has all the power. The Tika Alliance, the Three Stooges, whatever you want to call them, have been controlling the game from the middle since the merge. Carson has a great conversation with Jaime, telling her the reason Kane was voted out the last tribal council was because he was telling everyone about Jaime's idol. I fear when it comes time for the final three, this pointless lie to Jaime is gonna backfire as Carson once the jury finally gets to talk. We will for sure 100% talk about Jaime's rough edit she gets this episode later in the video because of this whole fake idol situation. You gotta remember, last episode, because of knowledge is power, she gave her idol to Kane, who was later voted out. Number 17, biggest reward of the season. I know we're always ranting about reusing challenges in Survivor episodes. I would be fine if they reuse this specific challenge every single season, and it's always a great surprise having a separate reward challenge and a separate immunity challenge. You're gonna have to spin around a bunch to reel in a buoy and go through a series of obstacles, collecting some balls and land the balls on a tall ledge. And the reward's gonna be the good old Survivor Sanctuary, the best reward of the season, getting some tacos and letters from home. Number 16, reward challenge. I know what I said about reusing challenges. I want to see this every season. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be cool if they changed the later obstacles for future seasons. I just hope for Survivor 45 we get to see the spinny thing again, as it's hilarious how all the players react to it. Everyone forgot how in Survivor 42, the winner of the season, Marianne, unspun herself going the other direction. We have Frannie freaking out about the situation, Danny becoming a ninja, and Carolyn screaming like crazy. We'll talk about it later in the video before tribal council, but I think it was a mistake for Frannie to win this challenge. Not only does this make it her third individual win of the season, but also gives her the new era challenge record with 10 challenge wins overall. This is obviously gonna put a huge target on Frannie's back. Number 15, Frannie's decision. Jeff does the good old classic, pick someone to go on the reward with you, and then go pick someone else and pick one final person to go on the reward with you. I much prefer this when Jeff forces the players to pick who goes with them instead of it just being random or in reward teams. Well, Frannie's gonna celebrate Mother's Day early, bringing Carolyn, Lauren, and Heidi on reward with her. Lesson of future Survivor players, it might be a good idea to have kids to be on more rewards, or like Mike Bloom says, just tell a lie that you have kids. Number 14, the losers. It doesn't end up making the final edit, but we see a half-second clip of a lobster that the losers are gonna enjoy after the challenge. So you probably would have missed it, but Carolyn decides to put that piece of lobster in her hair. Jam gets super emotional with Jaime about not getting his letters from home, leading into number 13, Jam flashbacks. So get ready for it. It's the letters from home episode. Obviously there's gonna be a bunch of emotional crying, there's gonna be some flashbacks, but it felt really weird getting a flashback from Jam here, as obviously he doesn't end up going home, he doesn't win reward, and he doesn't get a letter from home. Putting all that information together, I'm thinking the chances of Jam winning the game has gone up like crazy, as why else would we get some personal content from him right here? This next part really surprised me, as Jam's gonna talk some strategy with Danny and Jaime. Number 12, Danny's big move. It's always a great chance to talk some Survivor strategy when half the group is gone on reward. Sadly, I'm feeling Danny's big move to take Frannie out here is feeling a little bit more like a dumb move, and I'll explain why. Normally I would say it's genius because Frannie's a challenge beast, it makes the most sense to take her out. But as Fishback explains, Danny wasted his idol on Frannie because last episode he left her out of the votes, and then this episode wants to vote her out. It doesn't make sense. Number Number 11, the Survivor Sanctuary. We gotta give a round of applause for the Survivor producers putting together the Survivor Sanctuary scene perfectly. We're first gonna see all the players freaking out about all the food, just showing how hungry they truly are. We then see the social game highlighted as all the players are about to get emotional about the letters from home. And we get an awesome clip of Carolyn respecting the social game, highlighting how Frannie's playing. And then we end it all with some Survivor strategy, possibly forming a woman's alliance to take Danny out. Number 10, Lauren's flashback. We really need to highlight for a second Lauren's flashback after opening up her letters from home. The flashback itself is an awesome story about Lauren always finding a way, getting a couple jobs, getting her master's with having a couple kids. But let's be real with ourselves for a second that Lauren hasn't gotten much screen time all season long. But getting a flashback like this late in the season and not being the target for this tribal council, I'm thinking Lauren's gonna make the final episode. Number 9, Jaime's idol. And on the other side of things, I'm locking it in right now, Jaime's 100% the 0 vote finalist of the season. The editors have just gone above and beyond on so many occasions this season making fun of Jaime. The losers not going on reward are trying to come up with a plan and a decoy plan to tell everyone about the Frannie vote out. First of all, Danny says it'll be easy to bring Heidi in on the plan. We're gonna be talking about that later in the video. But they say the decoy plan's gonna be easy because everyone knows about Jaime's idol. So she tells everyone the truth, and it actually is the truth in this situation that her idol went home with Kane. But no one believes her here as number 8 players come together. Literally right after the commercial break, we're still seeing Jaime freak out about feeling so good about herself about telling the truth about the idol, only to cut seconds later to literally no one in the game believing her. So telling the truth in this situation actually puts a bigger target on Jaime's back. Number 7, immunity time. Exciting slow-mo shots are always welcome on my television screen, and a fun challenge like this made this episode go from great to awesome. Your feet and arms are going to be tied together, you gotta grab a buoy with your mouth, going through the sand, and eventually solving a puzzle. Number 6, the challenge. I kinda knew right away Danny wouldn't have a chance at doing the puzzle, but it was super impressive seeing him earlier on in the challenge with the sand. We'll talk about Carson's 3D printing puzzle skills a little bit later in the video, but even with Carson knowing how to do the puzzle, Frannie was almost able to beat him. However, it's not gonna be enough as Carson wins. Number 5, the Survivor puzzle. It was confirmed on Twitter by Carson that he had this puzzle 3D printed and ready to go at home. It's crazy because Jeff Probst has confirmed on his podcast that these repeat puzzles are here to stay. And although it's hard to respond to all the comments, I promise I read every single one of them. And this week we're bringing back a fan favorite discount code with Idle Plays. At this point, Survivor 44 is almost over, and that means the Survivor 44 Idle Plays drop is almost done as well. If you're interested in checking out the fire puzzle, the 4-piece puzzle, or any of the other challenges on Idle Plays, I would literally go right now. The discount code I'm about to show you is only gonna work for the first person that uses it, so you gotta make sure you act fast. So the very first person to use the discount code CRAZY25 is gonna get 25% off their entire order. Just make sure to use the first link in the description or go to idleplays.com to check it out. Remember, use the code CRAZY25. Survivors ready? Go! Number 4, no Frannie, no. Lesson to future Survivor players, there's some things you literally can never say during confessionals because if you do, the editors are gonna make fun of you. As Frannie says, she's excited she didn't win immunity and feels safe in the game. No Frannie, you can't say you're safe. Number 3, the plans. So ultimately, there's gonna be 4 plans put together in a short amount of time. Plan number 1 is to take out Jaime, because everyone thinks she's lying about the whole fake idol situation. Plan number 2 is to split the vote between Danny and Jaime. That's because Carolyn still wants Danny out of the game from the bromance reward earlier in the season. Plan 3, take out Frannie, the challenge beast. This one's a little more complex and ultimately the real plan of the episode, as Danny really wants to take Frannie out and tells his number 1 ally Heidi he doesn't need her vote. And on top of that, Jam Jam and Carson are fully down with this plan, they're just worried about how Carolyn's gonna react to it. And the 4th plan, last minute, the idea is to take Heidi out. Heidi goes up to Carolyn and tells her apparently there's a plan to get Frannie out, but she doesn't know who's down with the plan. Carolyn doesn't really believe Heidi here and goes to all the girls and said, hey, let's just take Heidi out of the game instead. Low-key, this whole situation just sucks. I get it, Frannie's probably the smartest plan because she's a challenge beast, but I really don't think Carson and Jam Jam are gonna be able to recover after leaving Carolyn out of the vote. Number 2, Tribal Council. 100% before Tribal Council, the producers told Kane he wouldn't be allowed to react to Jaime talking about the fake idol, as he Lacey fully has a straight face the whole time she's saying her idol went home with Kane. Things get a little bit weird as Jeff's trying to force this new catchphrase that I wasn't feeling at all, as this tribal council was for sure not full tilt boogie for Frannie, as number 1 Frannie voted out. Anyways, congratulations Clumps, you're this week's giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week, and click right here for everything we know so far about Survivor Season 45.